On February 7th, 1926, Carter G. Woodson created and celebrated the first Negro History Week. As we all know, Negro History Week expanded and became Black History Month as we know it today. The original purpose was to deepen the study and scholarship of African American history. Woodson chose February for Negro History Week to encompass the birthdays of two Americans that had a large impact on Black history. These Americans were Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln.
Peace and love, family. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a returner, I appreciate you for rocking with me. And if you're new here, welcome. This is where we uncover real history, the stories they don't always teach us in school. Today, we're diving into the origins of what was called Negro History Week and how it evolved into what we know as Black History Month. We'll break down how Carter G. Woodson, often called the father of Black history, laid the foundation for its celebration, while understanding its roots is more important than ever. But before we get into it, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more content like this. Now let's jump into it. Peace and love, family.
On behalf of Akuno Sanko for Bay, you know what I'm saying? Jay, where you at? We're trying to help our people elevate. Hope. H-O-P-E. We're giving them hope. We doing what we gotta do, you know. Every day, one step at a time, man. We're gonna make it happen. Helping our people elevate. Yeah. Sometimes I practice focus, thought, and meditate. I'm trying to come with other ways to help our people elevate and seeking knowledge, make me levitate. The lifted mental state is what results from how we orchestrate. This for the family's sake. Let's self-reflect and self-evaluate. And every day, make sure the steps you take, you calculate. Receive a master's fate. I know I can't exist without the hate, but that's okay. I balance that with higher self today. Success is on this way, and after that, my flesh can pass away.
The story of Black History Month begins in Chicago during the summer of 1915. An alumnus of the University of Chicago, with many friends in the city, Carter G. Woodson traveled from Washington, D.C. to participate in a national celebration of the 50th anniversary of emancipation, sponsored by the state of Illinois. Thousands of African Americans traveled across the country to see exhibits highlighting the progress their people have made since the destruction of slavery. I want y'all to forgive me, I'm coming over strip throat, but I got to keep this information coming for y'all. Awarded a doctorate in Harvard 3 years earlier, Woodson joined the other exhibitors with a Black history display. Despite being held at the Coliseum, the site of the 1912 Republican Convention, an overflow crowd of 6,000 to 12,000 waited outside for their turn to view the exhibits. Inspired by a 3-week celebration, Woodson decided to form an organization to promote the scientific study of Black life and history before leaving town. On September 9th, Woodson met at the Wabash YMCA with A.L. Jackson and 3 others and formed the Association of the Study of Negro Life and History, the ASNLH. He hoped that others would popularize the findings that he and the other Black intellectuals would publish in the Journal of Negro History, which he established in 1916. As early as 1920, Woodson urged Black civic organizations to promote their achievements that researchers were uncovering. A graduate member of the Omega Psi Phi, he urged his fraternity brothers to take up the work. In 1924, they responded with the creation of the Negro History and Literature Week, which they renamed Negro Achievement Week. Their outreach was significant, but Woodson desired greater impact. As he told an audience of Hampton Institute students, "We are going back to that beautiful history, and it is going to inspire us to greater achievements." In 1925, he decided that the association had to shoulder the responsibility. Going forward, it would both create and popularize knowledge about the Black past. He sent out a press release announcing Negro History Week in February of 1926. Woodson, who chose February for reasons of tradition and reform, it is commonly said that Woodson selected February to accomplish the birthdays of 2 great Americans who played a prominent role in shaping Black history, namely Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, whose birthdays are the 12th and 14th, respectively. More importantly, he chose them for reasons of tradition. Since Lincoln's assassination in 1865, the Black community, along with other Republicans, had been celebrating the fallen president's birthday. And since the late 1890s, Black communities across the country have been celebrating Douglass. Well aware of the pre-existing celebrations, Woodson built Negro History Week around traditional days commemorating the Black past. He was asking the public to extend their study of Black history, not to create new traditions. In doing so, he increased his chances of success. Yet Woodson was up to something more than building on tradition. Without saying so, he aimed to reform it from the study of 2 great men to a great race. Though he admired both men, Woodson had never been fond of the celebration held in their honors. He railed against the ignorant spellbinders who addressed large convivial gatherings and displayed their lack of knowledge about men and their contributions to history. More importantly, Woodson believed that history was made by the people, not simply or primarily by great men. He envisioned the study and celebration of the Negro as a race, not simply as the producers of a great man. And Lincoln, however great, had not freed the slaves. The Union Army, including hundreds of thousands of black soldiers and sailors, had done that. Rather than focusing on two men, the black community, he believed, should focus on the countless black men and women who had contributed to the advancement of human civilization. From the beginning, Woodson was overwhelmed by the response to his call. A Negro History Week appeared across the country in schools and before the public. The 1920s was the decade of the New Negro, a name given to the post-World War I generation because of its rising racial pride and consciousness. Urbanization and industrialization had brought over 1 million African Americans from the rural South into big cities of the nation. The expanding black middle class became participants in and consumers of the black literature and culture. Black history clubs sprang up, teachers demanded material to instruct their pupils, and progressive whites stepped up and endorsed the efforts. Woodson and the association scrambled to meet the demands. They set a theme for the annual celebration and provided study materials, pictures, lessons for teachers, plays for historical performances, and posters of important dates and people. Provision with the steady flow of knowledge, high school and progressive communities formed Negro History clubs. To serve the desire of history buffs to participate in the re-education of black folks and the nation, ASNLH formed branches that stretched from coast to coast. In 1937, at the urging of Mary McLeod Bethune, Woodson established the Negro History Bulletin, which focused on the annual theme. As black populations grew, mayors issued Negro History Week proclamations, and in cities like Syracuse, progressive whites joined Negro History Week with National Brotherhood Week. Like most ideas that resonate with the spirit of the times, Negro History Week proved to be more dynamic than Woodson or the association could control. By the 1930s, Woodson complained about the intellectual charlatans, black and white, popping up everywhere seeking to take advantage of the public interest of black history. He warned teachers not to invite speakers who had less knowledge than the students themselves. Increasingly, publishing houses that previously ignored black topics and authors rushed to put books on the market and in the schools. Instant experts appeared everywhere, and non-scholarly works appeared from mushroom presses. In America, nothing popular escaped either commercialization or eventual travelization, and so Woodson, the constant reformer, had his hands full in promoting celebration worthy of the people who had made it the history. And again, y'all excuse me, I'm coming over the strip throat, trying to get my voice back, but like I said, I got to keep pushing this for y'all. Well, before his death in 1950, Woodson believed that the weekly celebrations, not the students or the celebrations of black history, would eventually come to an end. In fact, Woodson never viewed black history as a one-week affair. He pressed for schools to use Negro History Week to demonstrate what students learned all year. In the same vein, he established a Black Studies Extension program to reach adults throughout the year. It was in the sense that blacks would learn their past on a daily basis that he looked forward to the times when an annual celebration would no longer be necessary. Generations before Morgan Freeman and other advocates of the all-year commemoration, Woodson believed that black history was too important to America and the world would be crammed into a limited time frame. He spoke of a shift from Negro History Week to Negro History Year. In the 1940s, efforts began slowly with the black communities to expand the study of the black history in the schools and black history celebrations before the public. In the South, black teachers often taught Negro history as a supplement to United States history. One early beneficiary of the movement reported that his teacher would hide Woodson's textbooks beneath his desk to avoid drawing the wrath of the principal. During the Civil Rights Movement in the South, the Freedom School incorporated black history into the curriculum to advance social change. The Negro History Movement was an intellectual insurgency that was part of a very large effort to transfer race relations. The 1960s had a dramatic effort on the study and celebration of black history. Before the decade was over, Negro History Week would be well on its way to becoming Black History Month. The shift to a month-long celebration began even before Dr. Woodson's death. As early as 1940s, blacks in West Virginia, a state where Woodson often spoke, began to celebrate February as Negro History Month. In Chicago, a now-forgotten cultural activist, Frederick H. Hammurabi, started to celebrate Negro History Month in the mid-1960s. Having taken an African name in the 1930s, Hammurabi used his cultural center, the House of Knowledge, to fuse African consciousness with study of the Black past. By the late 1960s, as young Blacks on college campuses became increasingly conscious of the links with Africa, Black History Month replaced Negro History Week at a quickening pace. Within the association, younger intellectuals, part of the awakening, promoted Woodson's organization to change within the times. They succeeded. In 1976, 50 years after the first celebration, the association used this influence to institutionalize the shift from a week to a month and from Negro history to Black history. Since the mid-1970s, every American president, Democrat and Republican, has issued proclamations endorsing the association's annual theme. What Carter G. Woodson would say about the continued celebration is unknown, but he would smile on all honest efforts to make Black history a field of serious studies and provide the public with thoughtful celebration. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help grow this channel. I also want to apologize for my voice. I've been dealing with strep throat, but I didn't want to stop me from sharing this information with y'all. I felt this history was important. Stay tuned for more content, and as always, let's continue to help our people elevate. I'll see you on the next video. Peace and love, family.